I'm reaching my midlife crisis.
Yeah, you're reaching.
We're always
for
scared
such
of getting
cases.
sued.
We are always scared of getting sued.
I feel like I was giving you the pressure. So.
Yeah.
Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of the Argue
Good
Company podcast.
We're your hosts for today, Glennard
And Nicole.
So Nicole, what are we going to talk about today?
So today we'll be talking about
Closing down our business. Okay. So we thought this would be a interesting topic to talk about today, right? Because as you know, this is episode 20. So episode 20 is, as we've said earlier, the end of this season in terms of podcast episodes.
Yes.
And we've also discussed between the two of us, right? It's also most likely going to be the end of the podcast overall for the time being. At least unless things change substantially.
Unless we find an editor.
Maybe if we find an editor, we can continue. We do still have kind of many stories to talk about, many stories to tell. But one of the things that's making it difficult for us to continue is that we haven't been able to find a way to work the schedule, specifically the editing process, around our lives, personal lives.
Yeah.
And we are actually trying to include kind of more things into our personal lives to live a more well-rounded life. Yeah. So
like even though we kind of like changed it from posting once a week to like once every 2 weeks, so that actually that should give me more editing time, but somehow I still can't find the time to do it. Or like it's still quite rushed, I would say.
It's not just that it's rushed but we are adding more things into our personal life. I think we are trying to take on more exercise. At work, there's a bit more business coming in on our side that we find ourselves needing to really isolate and block out certain days that we cannot work on the podcast at all. So so unless things change, whether it's on our end or on the podcasting end, right, I think it's unlikely that we will continue. But if we do, it will probably be in other forms. So perhaps like short form videos or TikTok videos or other, maybe even written articles. That could also be an alternative.
Yeah.
But this model, without an editor, is actually very, very challenging for us.
It actually takes quite a while to edit. Yeah. But do support us still on the other social media platforms that like our TikTok, our Instagram. Even subscribe to our YouTube channel, because I don't know, maybe we might post some like short form.
We will cross post some of our longer videos into YouTube and our shorter videos into YouTube Shorts.
Yeah, maybe we'll make some like reaction videos that we react to our own projects. I don't know. We'll see.
And what better topic to talk about, right, for our very last episode than to close down our business? And why and when we would close down our business.
So we're not closing down now.
Yet.
I think when this episode goes out, we should still be in business.
This episode is likely to go out based on our lifestyle timeline now, right? In about 1 month. From the date of recording.
About there.
We don't know what will happen in 1 month. We may close down.
Dun, dun, dun.
But we may not close down.
Yeah.
But we are here to talk about what are some of the reasons why businesses could close down, including ours. I think from the start, right, we have been very realistic when we talk about starting this business. It's like we have to understand what we are taking on, what are the kind of risks, and what are we capable of, and when to call it quits. So this is a conversation, right? Like it's very morbid, but it's a conversation we have from the very start.
Yeah. I think maybe even before we started the business.
Yeah.
We kind of talked about like not say when we will close down, but like
why we will close down.
At what point it's like, okay, we might need to relook at this, and then it's like maybe things change in our life that might force us to close, or like that like will make Glennard go back to the corporate world.
Right. So just to kind of structure this episode a bit, right? So we've roughly broken it down into 4 different reasons, different groups of reasons why our business could close down. And this may apply to us, it may apply to other businesses as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so the 4 reasons are financial, external factors, health, and family. Okay, so let's talk about each of them one by one. Okay, so financial, I think, is the easiest for most people to understand. If you're doing a business, you have to make money. And you make money by having your profits or your revenue be greater than your costs.
Yeah.
More money in than money going out. Very straightforward.
Yes.
Even though on principle it's very, very easy to understand, I think within the kind of like actual day-to-day running of the business, it can be a bit more complicated or more opaque, I would say, less transparent, right? So one of the things, right, is the business can on paper look like it's making money when you're kind of tallying all the receipts, all the money that's coming in.
Okay.
But sometimes you ignore or you forget that there are certain costs that you didn't factor in.
A hidden cost?
It's not hidden, but it's just overlooked. So one example, right, which my dad brought up, right, is don't forget to put aside money for tax. Because some people are like so on the line, some businesses are so kind of like on the edge that the tax bill, right, is the one that sinks them.
Oh, that means like they're in the higher tax bracket.
No, not necessarily that they're in the higher tax bracket, but just that kind of they're operating at a cost equals to a revenue kind of level. Like they're making zero money, and then suddenly they have this additional.
Even.
Correct, they're breaking even, and then suddenly they have this tax bill that just sinks them.
Okay.
Right. So that's one way that could happen, right? Because within our business, right, the hidden costs, other than what we talk about in terms of tax, right, which applies to every company, some of the costs are the material and labor. So we currently don't hire any labor, so our costs are kind of still quite controlled.
Yeah.
But at some point, you might be thinking about growing the business. We are thinking about growing the business. We also want to hire, but you cannot tell your employees that like, hey, sorry, we cannot afford you this month.
Yeah.
Can you take a break and then come back?
Yeah.
So labor is a very, very substantial cost that's easy to snowball, especially when there's no business coming in.
All right. Yeah.
Another thing that kind of affects us quite a bit is the actual material itself. So it's not so much that the material costs increase substantially, right? Because wood cost does fluctuate. Even if they fluctuate by double or triple, right? It's not going to bring down the company as much as not having the material. It is more likely that our suppliers close down or stop supplying a certain type of material than it is for us to for our business model to break down because of our lumber costs.
Yeah, I think we have talked about like because there's not many wood suppliers to begin with in Singapore, right? So I think we did mention before the time when we actually did run into this problem with the supplier that like, we might actually have to stop doing this just because we cannot get our material anymore. Yeah, so it's not so much of the cost, it's rather like the availability of the wood. So
I put that under cost, right? Because in most cases, right, the material can be sourced from somewhere. The problem is it might 5 times or 10 times the cost. So I'll give you an example, right? So when we first started out, right, when we first started working with plywood, so we were working with this supplier who sold very, very cheap plywood. So I'm telling you, right, so the numbers we're working with, right, is one full sheet, 2.4 meter by 1.2 meter plywood. You're looking about $40, $30. And then we realized there was a higher grade of plywood.
Yeah.
So it's called birch plywood, which we use now.
Yeah.
That plywood is when we first ordered it, right, it was $180 per sheet.
Same size.
Same size. That's how much times? 9 times the cost.
One is 40, one is 180.
About 4 to 5 times the cost.
Yeah.
Right. So even though objectively, right, there are 2 different products, the customer perspective is they cannot tell.
Oh, right,
So
right.
should a case where we make some promise to a customer, right, or we are expected to stock a certain amount of material, and that $40 plywood supplier no longer is available, we suddenly have to change to the higher one. They are selling us a higher one, right? They may be selling us a better product, but the customers cannot differentiate. And if the customers cannot differentiate, we cannot say that, hey, we need to offset that material cost. So it is not so much that it cannot be done. It's just that it can be done at an extreme markup. Because fundamentally, they're selling two different products. But the customer cannot tell.
So it's harder to justify increasing the price.
We cannot justify increasing the price at all. Yeah.
How have you explained to them?
I think, okay, my take, right, is those are usually situations that are quite exceptional. So, because the thing is, right, so in terms of our booking calendar, right, we tend to be booked out 1 to 2 months ahead of time. So, if I suddenly have to stop buying wood from one particular supplier for 2 months, right, that means that 2 months I have to do two things. I have to buy an alternate source of wood and go and source for another cheaper source of wood other than this expensive source. If I cannot do that within that 2 months, right, I essentially cannot run the business anymore. It can be done at a higher cost, but it's just that the cost is too high. That is the problem. It's not the problem that like it's totally unavailable, because it could be a case where like we take on the importing ourselves. Usually the cost is so high because of import and export costs. It's not because the material itself is that much more expensive. So that goes into kind of like the specific context of Singapore. If we talk about kind of just globally, there's a lot of uncertainty around tariffs and all that. It contributes to cost essentially. Right. So that is one side of the financial reasons, cost. So that's on the cost side, right? So we talk about cost, going out of control. There's also that revenue side, right? Which is from the perspective of customers. Sometimes you run into cases where you just don't have customers.
No revenue.
Yeah, you just have no revenue because people are just not like doing business with you. It's a very, very scary prospect, but it can happen.
Yeah, I think even on months where like there's not many customers, it's like a bit, you already feel a bit antsy.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, it's kind of like we realize there's like a natural cycle of when the customers will come in. So it's like, so in like months where there's, I think, school holiday, like June or July, I think that's when people go on holidays.
It's a bit quieter.
Yeah, there's actually not much customers. Then on the other hand, like October or like September, it's like the customers shoot back up. But even during those 2 months where like there weren't many people, it was like you were feeling quite pressured.
You also.
I feel like I was giving you the pressure. So.
Yeah.
Like I keep asking, I will, cause every day I'll ask you, is like, also, is there any like new
customer today?
Yeah, any customer today? So it's like, do you want me to stop asking?
I mean, I get it lah, but like it is what it is. Yeah. So that is kind of purely from the business perspective, right? Like when we talk about financials, cost too high, income too low. Very straightforward. But
yeah, I think that's like usually
that's a very fundamental thing.
Yeah, that's what usually like almost all businesses face.
But when we talk about kind of like our business, right? Personally, like why would we shut down because of finance? There are other numbers that change our calculation, right? So right now, our business is based off of me drawing a very, very minimal salary, right? When I first started, I drew zero salary. Everything that the company makes, it goes back into the company.
Yeah.
So right now, this year, we are able to make enough money that I can give myself a proper working salary.
Yeah.
But that being said, the only reason I can draw such a low salary is because our family situation is such that we don't have a lot of dependents. Right? So we are not taking care of any elderly folks. We are not taking care of any children at the moment. But that is something that can change at any time.
Yeah.
So when you start to have children or when you start to have family members that maybe they fall sick or they run into some difficulties, suddenly this company starts looking like a liability more so than a kind of business opportunity.
Wasn't that very enlightening, Glennard?
That was so enlightened. By the way, what are you wearing?
Oh my god, it's the new Ugly Wood Company t-shirt. Oh my god, wow. It's a shirt that you can make a mess in. And you know what else?
This shirt is available right now at www.uglywoodcompany.com in all sizes. If you put in the coupon code
podcast shirt, PODCASTSHIRT,
you can get 10% off.
That's right. That sounds amazing, Glennard.
You should go and get a shirt now.
I think you should go and get a shirt now. Okay, back to the video.
So we started this company, right, as a way to kind of really get out of like the Singapore corporate rat race ladder thing.
Yeah, I think it's more of you. Right,
I have offered you that opportunity before, but like you are choosing not to take it.
Okay, you know what?
To each his own. You make your own choice.
Hey, but honestly, I feel like I've been thinking about it. Like, should I do it as like
more seriously?
Yeah, like actually be a social media thing. I need to do the video editing. I don't know why the thought came to mind recently. Actually,
you reached the age where I started this company. Maybe that's why.
I'm reaching my midlife crisis.
Yeah, you're reaching the age where you're jaded with your corporate world already. Yeah.
Approaching 30 soon.
Yeah, going back to the thing of numbers, right, is this company exists, right, because we keep our costs low. Like our personal individual costs as low as we can. So we don't go out to party, we don't club, we don't drink alcohol, we don't smoke. So
actually, like even our normal lifestyle, we're not like that.
Yes, correct. Even our normal lifestyle, right? Like we don't spend that much. And that is both conscious and unconscious.
Yeah, we're just not that type of people.
Yeah. So we are able to survive off of a low basic salary because of this. So when our family members not make demands, sound very kidnappy, but when they start kind of requiring more of us to contribute, right? That's when we need to really relook at our priorities. Because if it's a short-term thing, maybe we can last. But if it's going to be an extended period of time, we're going to have like extended financial contributions. It is
like for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, and the business doesn't pick up to match that same standard, it is unlikely we can continue this business.
Yeah.
Okay, so on the financial side, we are kind of very basic, right? It's just numbers. But then there's also kind of like the non-quantitative stuff that could also close down our company. So one of those, right, is we talk about regulations and external factors. So right now, wood is a relatively unregulated industry. At least from our side. There are a lot of things you can do. For example, when we sell things, right, we don't need to certify that it is a certain way. We don't need to kind of make any additional administration to say that, it doesn't contain whatever. You can do anything and sell anything. That is your business.
Like regulated by law.
Yeah. Okay. Or any organization. I don't need to get a license to be a woodworker. I don't get a license to be a carpenter.
Right.
Okay. So if that changes, that is something that could also close down the company. But depending on how it changes. Because we are unsure. Like right now, the only change we know is that the National Environment Agency, NEA, they are looking to push for what's it called? The pollutant, the low VOC type of plywood or any type of wood.
The formaldehyde.
Low formaldehyde wood, which we already don't use. So that's not going to impact us. But if such a change is going to happen to a product that we regularly use, for example, they say that we can no longer import a certain type of wood, or we can no longer, get a certain type of finish. That will impact the company significantly, because that means that we have to find alternatives to those that meet our standards. And our standards, I want to say, is quite high. I want to say our standard is like the highest in the market when it comes to safety finishes.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so.
You dare to say that?
I think so.
Okay.
Because
I'll hold you to your word.
Because from what I know, right, is that other companies generally, and this is kind of just speculation on my part, right?
You want to name some companies?
No, I'm not going to name a company. But from what I know, right, is that they just take what the company says, so what the supplier of finishers say,
okay,
and then that's it. But and then they will just advertise it as it is. We do that for any product that is not going to need food safety. But when it comes to food safety, we ourselves use the same products that we sell, and we make sure that it works. So, for example, right, I've been talking about trying to sell cutting boards, end grain cutting boards, for like 3 years. Until now, we still haven't sold it because we are using it on our own to make sure that on the safety level, on the kind of hygiene level, there are no issues.
So, like we test it out first?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like we test it out on a personal level. So we want to make sure that kind of everything works lah. Yeah, so that is on the regulation side. There's also the liability things. So worst case example, right? You know, touch wood, worst case scenario, if an accident happens or somebody sues you, those are cases where you pretty much have to shut down. That we have no safety net.
We're always scared of getting sued.
We are always scared of getting sued.
Because that's usually when the cost suddenly comes in also.
So if there's ever any liability, that's why we also over-engineer a lot of our furniture. Because I don't want the thing to break your toe. You know?
Or break your back.
Or break your back.
Yeah.
When you fall down. So I never want anything to break down. If anything does happen or it looks like it's going to happen, please let us know. Let us resolve it as soon as we can. So in terms of external factors, regulations, those are kind of like very small but not zero. That's how I always describe it.
Actually, do you think, going back to that food safety thing, right? Do you feel that you have such a high standard for food safety because you are already like this, or it's because I'm a food scientist and then I told you about the food safety thing?
I think both.
I kind of influence you. I
think I see it as both, right? I think if anything, right, is I think having you around, right, the influence that you have on me, right, is that whereas I think it's more on an ethics level. Whereas in the past, right, I would have gladly sold it and just not use it myself.
Oh, is it?
If I'm scared lah. I would just because like I think when it comes to this kind of thing, I think especially in the past, right, I really don't have any
no moral code
about this. No. But now, right, because I think I'm with you, right, I think you bring me to a higher standard. So I like, okay, I need to bring myself to a higher standard.
I unlock your morals.
Yeah.
Okay. Good to know.
Okay, let's talk about factor number 3, health. Okay, so health, while it's something that people think about in the abstract, it's something that we kind of have to deal with on a personal level, on a face-to-face level. Because for anytime we get a new piece of equipment, right, there is always this risk, or rather there's always this research that needs to be done, right? Kind of like what is the risk factor of any new equipment. So when we got our first table saw, everybody's first question, right, which it's my mom, it's like family, their first question is this safe?
Yeah.
Will you cut yourself? So because there are many stories of like people losing fingers.
Will the saw blade suddenly fly out?
Yeah, people losing fingers because the saw blade fly out, or you cut themselves.
Or like the wood like shoot out and then like just hit you somewhere.
Yeah. So woodworking is a very physically demanding occupation. If you lose any part of your mobility, it is harder for you to perform at the same level. Very straightforward.
Yeah.
If I was a corporate worker, right, and I lose my finger, I can still type with like 8 fingers, I think.
Yeah.
But if I were a woodworker, that becomes a challenge. If I lose my leg, I can still work in a corporate world with 1 leg. I cannot do that as a woodworker. It's not safe. So we are always trying to be as safe as we can when we do any woodworking. But that is a real and present like risk lah. When it comes to longer term, right, there are also other things that could affect our business. So we talk about things like breathing issues because we breathe in sawdust or we breathe in, formaldehyde we were talking about, or any kind of chemical stuff like that. Could also be skin issues. Both of us are very sensitive when it comes to our skin. I remember when we did this, right, my mom asked me, why you choose a profession, right, where you have sensitive skin, you have sensitive sinus, and you are so clumsy. Why you are still doing this job?
Are you trying to die early?
Are you trying to prove something to someone? Yeah. But it just so happens this is what we do. Yeah. This is what we chose to do.
But so far your skin issue hasn't like worsened, right?
No. I think I'm quite glad that skin wise it's not the worst. I do have some like kind of hair scalp issues. But I don't know how much of it is because of woodworking.
Yeah. Hard to say.
But if the skin issue does kind of like really affect day-to-day living, I think that's when you need to start putting things down. Right. So those two things that I mentioned, or those three things that I mentioned, those are kind of really long-term, both short-term and long-term things. We are not talking about, of course, like tomorrow, overnight, we will have to close down, but things we have to think about. Right. Another thing that
has it ever kept you up at night?
The injury, yes, but not
like injuring yourself.
Yeah, because I think accidents happen when you least expect it. Wow, and that's also why, right, I am glad that people have a sense of danger. They have a sense of self-preservation when you turn on loud machines. They know they have to, be serious, be alert, don't play around. Sometimes you get like really 1 out of like 100 customers, right? That like when you turn on the machine, right, they are still like silly and goofy. Those are the people that you have to be afraid of, right? Because you don't know whether they have any kind of like self-preservation instinct or not.
Survival instinct.
Yeah, survival instinct. So those are the people that we are concerned about. But
I think one way that we kind of like, not say mitigate, but like one thing you did is actually putting like a security camera in your workshop in case like if you faint or something happen, then like it will be for me to check.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I don't check the security camera often.
What to do?
Then I come home and just see you like lying on the floor.
I think when we started out, there was this concern, right, of like, what happens when I lose consciousness in a dangerous
and
situation?
you're like alone in the house and it's like in the enclosed room.
So that was like in the case of whether it's the house or the studio, right?
Yeah.
Those are like kind of the scary things that could happen. I think I remember that was why like I wanted to get married and I didn't want to live alone. Because I was scared that like, if anything, if like I choke to death, like I will be like suffering for like the 5 minutes and then like nobody's around to like stop it.
Aww.
Because I now work in a place, right, where I am the only one there.
Yeah.
So there is always this fear lah. Okay, but enough about fear of bodily harm. Let's talk about our last factor, which is family. Okay, so on the family side, I think you have a bit more to say, a bit more to describe. So how do you think? How would you say family can affect the decision making when it comes to choosing to keep the business closed or open or closed?
I would say that like I think is if let's say like the family members, just kind of like suddenly be in like financial like in a bad financial situation or like in debt, then I think it's like as children we need to kind of like help them out and all those. And also I think even if they're not in financial debt, I think at some point you have to start supporting your parents because like they will stop working at some point, so then there won't be any income. So then you need to give them like expenses and everything. So
we already talked about the financial side of things.
Yeah.
But I think there's also this secondary element of time, right? So when we talk about caretaking,
yeah.
So I think you're a bit more familiar with your grandparents who do have quite good caretakers in the form of your parents.
Okay.
Yeah. So maybe you can describe to us kind of like how your parents' life or day-to-day looks like when it comes to taking care of your parents.
Oh, you're saying if let's say we need to take up the responsibility of taking care of our parents.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's more of like, if let's say they, like definitely there will be more time devoted to them. So like there will be days where like let's say you need to take them to the clinic and then you'll just be there the whole day already. So essentially that's like one day wasted. And then I would think that like if let's say like I'm still doing like a corporate job, right? Maybe sometimes it might be hard for me to step out. I would think that maybe I might ask you to help me also.
Yeah.
And help me to take them to like to the clinic or something like that. Then there will be like one wasted day for you.
Yeah. So when it comes to caretaking, right, like there are really a lot. Like there's no way we can cover in this podcast.
Yeah.
But broadly speaking, right, the two things I thought of, right, is other than the physical kind of just any normal illness that you get when you grow old, there is also that mental disability type of thing. Right.
Or like dementia.
Correct, like dementia or even something like Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's is not mental, right?
It is mental.
Okay. So dementia, Alzheimer's, things like that, right? Those are the cases where it's not just that you have to take care of them, you have to supervise them. I think those are the things that really, really take up time.
Yeah.
Some of you are probably thinking, oh, why not just get professional help? And I think professional help only supports up to a certain point. Outside of, putting them in a old folks home or a care facility, right? If they or you wish to have them in your home, there are really a lot of things you need to sacrifice to keep them safe and having a high quality of life. And that is something that we don't know whether it can coexist with running a small business. A small business that takes up really a lot of your own mental energy and time.
Yeah. I think other than parents, there's also like if let's say we want to have like kids in the future, that's also another thing that, I mean, even though you are working from home, right?
Yeah.
Like you would have more time to take care of the kids, but then the thing is you will also take time out of your work to look after the kids. Then like on top of kids, there's also like pets. It's like, how will you be able to stop your pet from gnawing on your wood, that kind of thing?
One of the things I think about, right, when we have conversations about having children, right, is can we take care of children responsibly while still taking care of the company? In some ways, yes, but in some ways also no. So I think once the children have reached an age where they can be reasonably independent.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I don't mean like independent like, primary school, secondary school. I mean independent as in they are not trying to actively kill themselves by like poking into the electrical plug and things like that. Just
when they have developed the survival instincts.
Yeah. I think like once you have gotten to that stage, right, where they don't need constant supervision, I think it is okay to do work while
leaving them unsupervised.
Leaving them semi-supervised. I don't say unsupervised.
Okay,
I don't sound like an irresponsible
We're not
parent.
bad parents.
But semi-supervised.
Okay.
Because
fair enough.
I do think that, I think modern parenting, right, is such that they think that children need to be engaged at all times. They need to be supervised at all times. Which for me, I don't think is realistic or helpful.
You want to believe that your child is smart enough, right?
No, it's not that.
Like in a way that like if you leave them semi-supervised, you want to believe that they are smart enough that they won't kill themselves.
Oh no, that one is an age thing. But I think what I was saying earlier, right, I think is with regards to kind of like keeping their kids happy and avoiding pain or sadness. I think those are kind of like really different things. The unsupervised thing, right, is just avoiding accidents.
So you're talking more of like keeping them entertained.
Yeah, correct. Sense. Because I think modern parenting seems to believe that like, you need to give your children activities all day, all the time.
They cannot be bored.
They cannot be bored at all. Which is like, I think it's not good for the child.
Yeah, in a sense you don't. Okay, this is like we'll go into like a totally different. This will go on a tangent already, but it's like
another whole podcast.
Yeah, but it's like the boredom actually helps them to like
develop themselves.
Yeah, like imaginative play and everything.
Yeah.
Also,
So
which is something that I feel like they should need.
Yeah. So I think when we have children, we intend to treat them and teach them in a very kind of self-entertaining, self-engaging way. Teach them to be kind of like independent, or give them toys that they can be independent with. I don't think with every toy, right, you need to be like, oh, what's this? What's that? You don't need to be a clown to like keep them entertained, I feel.
I think, okay, now that I think about it, I feel like maybe because in a way, like modern parents, let's say like millennial parents, right? Because when growing up, we don't really have the attention of our parents, I would say. So it's like, maybe when you have your own child,
overcompensate, is it?
Maybe. Like you want to give your child all your attention. So it's like, you gotta make sure that like your child is loved, is not neglected.
Yeah.
So that's why maybe like what you say is overcompensate. And then to the point where it's like, if the way that they do it is keeping the child entertained all the time.
Maybe.
Like they don't leave their child alone ever.
Yeah. So on the family side, we talk about kids, we talk about parents. I think there's also this, okay, sorry, not parents, but parents' illnesses, things like that. But I think there's also this third weird factor, right, of family, which is almost like a pressure point.
Meaning?
So have you ever come across, okay, when your family member is not supportive of what you're doing, I think it can make your life very difficult.
Yeah.
So if any of your family members, right, at the moment we don't experience this.
Yeah, I would say at the moment actually they are quite
supportive.
They're quite supportive of what you do, because like even on my side, they will, like at family gatherings, they will ask you, hey, so how's your business? Or they will ask you directly also, like how's business going? Then they're just curious of like what you're doing.
Yeah.
But it's it's
but
not
I think it could come a day, right, where like somehow, whether my profession or just what I'm doing, right, is being really like demonized, ridiculed by people. Or it could be that if we have children, suddenly my profession seems very unprofessional, very unadult-like. And then like suddenly, I feel like this is the kind of thing, right? Like it only takes one person to like spread the virus. It really takes one person to spread like that mind virus. And then everybody is like suddenly, hey, this is, I don't want to talk about it. So like I'm always very...
Damn.
Don't know, maybe I overthink too much.
I don't know, but I can see it as like people may think that like, oh, maybe you should start
being an adult.
No, like being more grounded, I would say. Like find a more like financially stable job. Like maybe. More
stable?
And income that doesn't fluctuate.
Yeah, so
okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah,
like
so when we talk about family, right, like it's not always just caretaking needs. It could also be this kind of pride or ego or gossipy kind of things. Okay? I think we have really talked about all four of like potential reasons that we could be closing down our company.
Yeah.
Of course, we hope we don't close down our company. So please continue to support us. Continue to give us like really your financial and even non-financial support by like sharing videos like this.
Subscribe.
Helping her with social media.
No, like and subscribe and like this video.
Maybe when you become full-time, then you become more natural.
Oh yeah. Still very unnatural.
Okay, so before we go, we would like to give our lovely listeners some unsolicited advice. Okay, and this week I'll be the one giving advice. So my advice for this week, right, is if you are ever going to start thinking about starting your own business, please choose your partners carefully. Don't choose someone that you are friends with, you're familiar with, but you don't actually know how to work with them.
No.
Okay, bye-bye.
Maybe I should leave.
No. Thank you for listening to the Ugly Wood Company podcast. If you're interested in booking our services, please go to our website at www.uglywoodcompany.com and use the coupon code UWCpodcast for 10% off. That's UWCPODCAST. Links in the description.